Okay, so I've got it up. We're live. But just if you're listening, we are absolutely going to spoil all of Stranger Things season 5. So, but it's been a couple weeks, right? Yeah.
It's been
Um,
it's been let's see, yeah, because the last episode, so it's been like 2 weeks since the last episode aired.
yeah.
The way they broke it up,
Yeah.
and
Um,
I mean, it's like it's
but
like
just as
we
like
can we can, we can spell it.
yeah, just some quick topics. We're going to talk about the AI game console prices and stuff like that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Resident Evil. The new one's about to come out. The damn showcase today sucked, but and then we'll talk about the rest of it. The majority will be about Stranger Things. So anyway, there was a leak about 2 weeks ago about the Steam Deck, and people were like, "No, it's not the deck or the Steam box, whatever the hell the damn thing is called."
Yeah, the yeah,
Yeah, and
the box.
then there's talking about it's going to be $1,070 for the 2 terabyte, and I'm like, that's not true. I'm like, that's not true. And it ended up being just some other site who don't even have. It's like a selling site. They sell stuff, but they didn't have a damn license or whatever to sell the damn Steam thing. It was just some. They just guessed it.
Yeah,
There's no way it's true. It's only going to have 8 gigabytes of video RAM. So that tells you alone is like if you put out $1,000 freaking console that the average PC bro is going to be able to beat for freaking almost half the
right out of
price.
the box.
Yeah, almost half the damn price is like no, you've already lost. So I'm thinking PS5 is probably stronger than this thing is. Of course, it's going to play everything, although I think you'll have to do a little bit of work too. Brian, you're going to interrupt my podcast. You suck. But I think it comes with the dang Linux Steam OS thing, and then you could hack on Windows if you want to. Although I've seen a guy do that with the Steam Deck. It looked like a big pain in the ass. But I'm thinking 700 max for the 2 terabyte.
Yeah, that sounds because, like you said, with $1,000, it better be like top end at that
Yeah.
point. Because you could go buy like a budget gaming
No, I
computer for
just
like what, like $700 something, and it'd be budget and be
yeah.
play pretty much everything right now.
I just put in a graphics card for a guy, telling him to buy it. So he got the 9060 XT. That was 389. That's what the gigabyte one. Now they're about to go
Yeah,
up. They're all about to fucking go up. But that's 16 gigabytes, and it would just. I'm sure it crushes whatever the hell the Steam machine thing box is going to actually do. Um, but they will be that Xbox is going to be expensive as shit. I think that will be $1,000, probably
oh, it's
minimum.
gonna have that Xbox premium of like it'll play all your Xbox stuff.
Yeah, but it's a PC, and they've
Yeah,
reiterated time and time again that it's a PC coming out. And then I forgot the CEO's name, but this is not Phil Spencer. This is the head of Microsoft saying that it's going to be a very very premium. What's the quote he uses? Like okay, $1,500 is what it's going to be, and then his goal is to beat, I guess, pre-builts like you're going to beat Dell's or whatever. And hey, maybe there is a market for somebody who wants a no nonsense PC. It ain't something that's got Windows 11 on it. Windows 11 ain't nothing but damn nonsense.
yeah.
Well, it should be forthcoming pretty soon. We'll see the prices on that. And now the rumor for PS6 and Xbox is they're going to push it back because first of all, if they keep going up on prices on the systems they already got, people keep saying they're new consoles. No, they came out in 2020, man.
Yeah, these
They're
things are already 5 years old.
5 years old. They ain't new consoles at all.
Mm-mm.
And so and then the PS5 Pro is like $750. I want to say that the Series X with the biggest dumbest shit in it is also 750, maybe even eight. So it's ridiculous ass prices for what they are, and so you're looking at the prices of those where people don't want to buy any new consoles. More and more people are going to move PCs where it's at. Monster Hunter Wild sold more on PC than it did on PlayStation, and the freaking Capcom's confused. It's like, well, you know, y'all released some shit. Y'all released some buggy ass shit on PC, and that was the main platform. Y'all just didn't, you yourselves didn't even know that. You should have looked at your damn metrics. But Between that and the 5070 Ti was everything's MSRP now besides 5090, or it was
Yeah.
up till Christmas. But the 5070 Ti was, well, my opinion, was going to be the best card for value that would be considered higher end. People keep saying that's mid range. It's like, bro, $800 ain't no freaking mid range. I'm gonna let you know. I mean, it was, but they're going to discontinue that apparently. Just found out they're discontinuing that. All the 5090s are now out of stock, and they were outrageously priced to begin with. And the current rumor, although this might be debunked too, is that they're not going to put out a damn 6000 series until 2027 due to the memory and the RAM and shit. And people were expecting like a super series for the 5000 because it's due to have it out. Honestly, we should hear about it in the next couple months, but because of the RAM freaking hike, that they're going to just either delay it or just delete it. And so we're going to have like a 3-year generation for these 5000 cards, which people haven't particularly been a fan of.
Yeah.
I think if they were at MSRP a little bit longer than they were, which was only a couple months, this might have been a different story. People might have liked 5000 better but it's just they came out. There was nothing available.
Costly.
They put they were not really a huge upgrade of the 4000, which people didn't think the 4000 was that great, but compared to 5, it was like a freaking value steal of a deal. But it's a point where AMD could come out with something if they were smart, but they don't want to irk Nvidia. They don't want to piss them off, and so they kind of run in this kind of like, we're just going to stay a little bit behind. We're not going to try to compete because Nvidia was going to drop some bullshit hammer on their ass. But the price and RAM situation is fucking consoles up, and so, but that's what people want is PCs. So, and it's just, but it doesn't even matter honestly if you want a PC, or if you want a console, or if you want to Switch too. All that shit has RAM in it, so
it's all gonna go up.
It's just fuck. Yep.
Well, that's like these pre-mades that are just like I mean, my daughter bought one during not on Black Friday, but you know how they'll do like a week-long Black Friday thing, and she went and got like a new PC, and it's like for basically $1,000, you can get something with a 5060 in it, with like an i7 processor and 32 gigabytes of RAM. It's like it'll play anything you want it to play right now.
Yeah.
It won't be the highest settings, but it'll play anything out. And I was like, and then like a week or two later, is when they started talking about RAM prices. Like, what are they gonna do with these? Like, those computers are gonna like have to jump up in price, to have the same specs, but the RAM, it's like they're gonna have to go up like $400 just to cover that crap.
Yeah, yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where, like, can you even buy a budget, like, fairly decent gaming PC for $1,000 anymore after about a month?
Well, people would sit there and say that that's not a mid range or that's a low range. Is like, I don't. We're now living in the world where these 50s. Did she have 8 gigabytes of RAM, or did she have the 16?
It's a 8.
Yeah,
it's a 5060 with 8, which is like plenty for anything she runs.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything with simulator at the end of it's what she plays.
Yeah, but so
hand
people,
simulator.
Yeah, people would sit there and look at that 5060 and say that's like low end trash these days, and it used to not be. But a lot of that's they kind of shit the 4060 out on with 8 gigabytes, and they did the same with this 5060. And so it's a $300 card, and then just people just disrespect it kind of thing.
It's like it's $300. It's like the old 4200 back in the day with the TIs.
Yeah,
and it'd be like the 4200 was just barely under the 44 and the 46, but it was like still leaps and bounds better than the previous ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they just look at that at the low end, but the freaking it still shits on the damn consoles, with the exception of maybe the Series X and PS5 Pro, but you're also they're $750, man. They're past the range of I'm gonna go out and get this shit so I can play 2K on it. It's like
it's beyond, like, there's like a level after you reach $500, it's no longer like impulse buy. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you actually think about it. Anything below 5, sometimes you could kind of be like, oh, it's got a game I like. that then you might buy that console for it. But at $750, it's gonna be like there's gonna have to be a few games I want to freaking play.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's beyond that.
my ass is antsy for something that's an upgrade over 4090, and it really ain't there. It ain't there. It's hard to justify 5090. It just an insane price. They released something called the Matrix. Asus did this. Here's some dumb shit, bro. It looked like a big dick, big red dick, and it was 4,000 retail. They only made 1,000 of them, and basically what worked about it is it just had extra power plugs into that damn thing. And so instead of being 600, instead of being a 650 watt, which is what a 5090 is, that sucker is a 5090 with 800 watt, and so you could just you go in there and you blast that shit up. Although on paper, the damn who knows about what you have to do to keep it stable, but it's fucking kicking ass over the 5090.
Yeah, it's just overclocking it.
Yeah,
basically.
it's just because it's throttled by the damn power draw it's got.
Yeah.
But that's what's in the market right now. It's like, nope, that ain't me. I don't want to fiddle with that. I know I have enough fans and shit to handle all that crap, but I'm not doing it.
It's like how long can it maintain it though? It's like because you know how it is. Like
And
back in the
the
day,
stability,
when you overclock it, and yeah, it's like you could do that for a while, but it was like it shortened the length of that thing's lifespan drastically.
And then I think it's well, we'll see, I'm gonna love for you know what if say AMD kind of jumped ahead a year and put out something big that was bigger than 4090, I'd buy it this year. I bet.
Yeah.
Just to try it out. I was real close because I've been working so much damn overtime. I was like, dude, I just need to buy a car and just have it sitting just in case, because the market's about to drop. I see the market drying up and I see it months ahead coming. And like I just buy it. And like, but anything I buy would be like lower spec than what I wanted. It's like nope, we'll just deal with it. And if
you gotta flip them, man, you'll put them on marketplace.
Just start flipping
like,
it. Just emergency cards. Just like I need to buy the new Pokemon shit. It's hot, right?
Yep.
That's I gotta flip that shit.
Flip them cards.
No, we didn't get it. I had it to buy now because the gigabytes was priced good, man. Up and down the line, Gigabyte put a bunch of shit out. They had $1,000 5080. I'm sitting there looking at it. I was like, I told Jason, is this what you get? He didn't get it. But now it's that shit's gone. It's disappeared. Now when they had a $2,000 5090, I seen that pop up at Micro Center. I'm like, yep, that's gone in one day. Fucking gone. They had 100 other 5090s in stock, but the one that was MSRP for Gigabyte, that shit was gone. But no, we missed it. I could have had that card sitting here just in case, man, for a rainy day, man.
Yeah, man. You never know what your other 4 computers might have one go down. And you could hang the power supply out the side. You'd have like a power supply just for that video card. Just hang it out, set it outside the case, and
gotta swap it out. It's like, oh, we gotta put the one that's inside. He needs to be on the break, so we gonna put this other one.
You gotta swap them out. You gotta balance them out, man. Just set it outside the case, and then that way you just plug and play the power.
This is my weekend card.
Yep. It's like if I'm gonna be playing a 12-hour game, we gotta move this one into place.
So yeah. Anyway, long story short, we're fucked. We're fucked. If you're in the market, I was telling Bill, I was like, I'll build your computer for you, bro. I'll get you something better than that poop station. He's like, he's starting to look at the shit. I'm like, I changed my mind, man. I can't help you. You're fucked.
It's like now the RAM will cost more than the video card itself. So that's like somebody had a thing online where they were showing a video of like going in Best Buy, and it was like it was like 4 times the price of what it was like a month prior. It was crazy just for regular RAM.
And of course, well, there is a little bit hyperbolic because they'll show like the 32 single things, so you'd be 64 getting the dual channels. Like you don't need no damn 64 at all. But but it'll still then just half that price, or 1/3 that price would be it'd still be insane. And I've got that one computer that I built 5 years ago that I just bought RAM sticks just to have the RGB on the RAM. So I've got 64 on it. I should take that 32 out and sell and flip it, Brian.
That's what you do. You need to, put it in your trench coat and just walk around town and be like, pop it out and be like, "It's what you looking for," like here you go,
Dual
black
channel.
market Ram,
Dual
dual
channel,
channel.
freaking RGB, G skill, okay? G skill.
People are gonna start scrapping computers for the like. You remember how back in the day people would scrap computers to get the gold out of the freaking conductors?
Yeah, yeah,
They'll
yeah.
start scrapping it for the RAM.
Freaking, so all them shit PCs are, I'm like, oh, this RAM ain't even got no heat sink on it. You clearly trash. I was wrong. I should have saved.
It's only 8 GB, but man, it's like $180 on the black market.
I didn't hodl. So anyway, Resident Evil in a month, and so they had this showcase today, and I'm like, bro, they're gonna have a demo out, or it's also the 30th year anniversary, and so
I forgot about that. It is the 30th anniversary,
yeah.
so it's like
Some shit's gonna
the
go
end all
down.
be all of like you should show something
Yeah.
that like hadn't everybody already seen.
Yeah, they showed Leon's watch, bro. There's only gonna be 2,000 of them made, and so it's gonna be like probably $75,000. You need to get that shit, just like
Yeah, get that watch, the Leon watch.
the go with the trench. I mean the fucking coat. Remember the coat from
Yeah.
what was that 6? It was like $1,400.
Oh yeah. It came in like the special edition came with the coat or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is probably made out of like not exactly leather. It's probably really.
I mean,
cheap.
at
But I remember
$1,400,
that
it
now.
better be leather. You better have a sweat stains and you get DNA
Yeah.
out of it.
I mean, I forgot all about that, but yeah, that was on like that's when everybody was doing super collector's editions.
Yeah.
Like Saints Row they had one that gave you like a Lamborghini or something, didn't
I
it?
thought it was a trip to the moon or some shit like that.
It was something crazy where it was like $1 million collector edition. I think it was like a trip to the moon in like a Lamborghini Murcielago or something crazy. It was like absurd. But I'd forgotten about the jacket. But yeah, it's like gotta get that watch, man. It's like it's gonna be a special one of a kind.
Yeah. Only 2,000 made, and then what was there was some other stupid shit. It was some 1/6 action figures. I mean, they're not action figures. They're the standing up expensive ones that I would never buy.
Models basically.
Yeah.
It's like I don't get that. I mean, I see it. I don't know if GameStop still sells a lot of that, but you remember you go in GameStop and it'd be like, check out this like statue of like the Hulk, and you'd be like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Drew had most of the Assassin's Creed, like not just collectors, but super duper ones that came with the figure. And there's a couple we don't, and now those figures are just outrageous. If you ever try to,
I'm sure it's like they only got made for a certain length of time.
Yeah. But I've always was like, and I looked into it. I'm like, dude, you need to get a dust cover to those things. And I'm like, so you got to DIY this shit. And I looked it up. You could, like, you have Home Depot cut your plexiglass the way you want it to, and there's like some YouTube thing that will teach you how to get plexiglass to seal into it. I was like,
oh yeah.
So yeah, we were right there. I was like, I'm like, that's going to have to be done. We got to.
Okay, this makes me think of the craziest thing. When I was at Walmart before Christmas, they had like plexiglass things that you would put your shoes in. And I was like, is this literally like a collectible thing or like a plexiglass case to put your Air Jordans in or something like that?
Exactly. I'm sure it is.
And I was like, really? Like this is where we're at now.
What's funny is that that's been going on for 10 years. That market just crashed recently because I think they realized that instead of just doing like purposely limited edition fuck you over scalper shoes, just to pump the down market of them shoes, but that makes the resale value and the collector's value go down on the shoes. It's like you would actually have to want to look at the shoes instead of flip the shoes.
Yeah, exactly. You have to want to keep them. And I get that, man. There was a place in town, and I was joking, like, how long is it going to stay in business? Where it was like used, like Nikes and stuff, like Timberlands. It was like you'd come in there and sell your things and get traded. And it was like like a game store, but for shoes. And I'm like, interesting.
It was hot for a while, and then I don't know how a resale value. I mean, I'm assuming that the vast majority of those collector shoes are never even open or worn. Or you would double. You would get you one, like just like we did with the damn Star Wars action figures. You get one to play with,
and one to keep it.
Yeah.
Well, that's like there was one day I saw a kid walking to school and he had his Nikes in one hand and he had like just some regular old crap shoes like on his feet. And that's my daughter. I'm like, what the hell is that about? And she's like, they don't want to crease their shoes. So if they're walking to school, they wear crappy shoes so it doesn't matter. And then
Yeah,
when they get to school, they'll put on like their Air Force Ones or whatever.
it's just like the Japanese, all right?
Yeah, it's like you don't want to crease the freaking, they get creases in their shoes, and I'm like, that's how shoes work. They get creases and they get wore out.
So why can't we get Leon shoes? I guess we're working that way, working down that
We're
way.
working there, man. It's like next thing you know, they'll have that other jacket, the new jacket that looks like it's a little bit more, tattered
The
or
newer
whatever.
leather jacket that isn't worn
The
by
newer leather jacket.
the Spanish. I forgot their names, but one of them's got to steal your jackets if I remember right. In
Yes,
part four, um,
it's like you got to find it back and remake. Like you got to get it and turn it back. No, that was a separate raise. Yeah, you had a separate raise is like go find Leon's jacket and just sell it back to the dude.
to the merchant.
Yeah, the merchant. It was in separate ways. It was like one of the little like bounty things. It
Oh,
was like
okay.
go find his jacket and then sell it to the merchant, and you get like the little trade things or whatever.
I played through that in the afternoon. I do not remember, but I'm just assuming it's in there.
It was in there. I played through it not too long ago. I actually played through 4 remake again in separate ways, like right around Halloween,
Yeah.
just because I was like, something to play. And it was fun.
I've
I
had
hadn't played them in
so
about a
many
year or
games
two.
to play, but in the back of my mind, Resident Evil 2 sits there, the remake. I'm like, no, I want to go through that shit again. That game was so fucking good. Which
Oh,
is,
yeah, it was great.
they're purposely saying that Alessa's name or whatever her name, Alex's game or play is going to be like Resident Evil 2, and then so
And
Leon's going
that's
to be like
kind of what
4.
it looks like.
Yeah,
It looks like they're trying to go. I guess it'd be kind of like in 6, where like Leon's campaign was drastically different than like Sherry's. I guess.
yeah, or at least it starts off that way, and then it kind
Yeah,
of
it's
they all
by the end
become
of it, it's
dumb.
all
But
the
yeah,
same. Yeah, by the end of it, they all become Chris's campaign basically.
yeah.
You know,
But, so you gotta get your watch, your Porsche, and then your Nvidia. So Nvidia proudly presented. So it ain't
yeah.
it's
Please,
not AMD no more. I don't think I don't know why the hell we're still doing it, but Nvidia's gonna path ray trace the game. I still want damn turn on ray tracing. I wouldn't trust that shit on Capcom for a second.
it's there as a gimmick, man. You turn it on, it's cool to look at, and then you're like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, well, I tried playing. Started off on Resident Evil 4 with that shit on, and I'm like, you only could see barely at the water, and then
Yeah,
and it ran like shit. And then I'm like, you know what? What if I just turn this off? And then boom, it's good. And
yep.
then
Because I did that same thing, and it's like, oh, the water looks really cool, but it ain't worth it.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, and that was 15-minute showcase of advertisements, and then
That's
saying
all it was.
yeah,
I mean, there might have been some gameplay footage that
they
wasn't
did
in one of those
show.
trailers.
Well, I don't even know if it's really that much new shit. Did they show that Leon is going to be able to use other zombies' weapons? They say that the zombies are going to have more characteristics of they kind of remember what they were doing in their live, and so they showed like a maid zombie who's like just fucking struggling to clean a window, which that could be cool.
That could be
And
kind
then
of neat.
Leon's going to be able to use the zombie weapons if they have any, and then for what's her girl, if you want to, you can set it up in your difficulty to use ribbons, so limited time ribbons. So yeah, we'll definitely run that, so I could be frustrated and you know run across the map, get all of the herbs or whatever, and then go and fight the boss in the next room, die, and have to do the herbs
I
again.
had to do it all over again.
Yep,
Have to
yep.
restock.
But I'm hyped for it.
Yeah, it's like I'll play it. I'll try it.
Yeah,
It's
and
got to be better than Remake 3,
well, that's a given.
and yeah, well that should have been downloadable content.
Yeah,
Um, and that's the thing is like because this is like the first one of the series that I've actually halfway been excited about because I didn't really care for 7 or 8. Um, 7 I never finished 7 and I never finished 8, which are like the only two of the entire series I didn't finish. And I've just started playing 8 again, just trying to like so I could say I beat it before
yeah.
the new one comes out. But it's like I guess it was the change in style, which they needed to change after 6 because that was so chaotic. It was almost like this is just a bro shooter game almost at some point. Um, but 7, I didn't care for the first person because it felt weird that it was Resident Evil and it being in first person. And then 8 looked like they tried to get a little bit closer to like I don't know, maybe Resident Evil 4 style a little bit. Um, and I have been played it in third person, and you're right, it does feel like a hack. It
No,
doesn't
yeah,
feel
it's
like
a
you're
hack.
supposed. It's clearly meant to be in first person mode for a lot of stuff, but it's like it just to me, I like it better in third person, but it is clearly made to be
I'm sure
first
that
person.
Ethan kind of moves weird, and
He kind of
yeah,
does.
yeah.
Um, Especially like the puzzles, like you could tell, like the ones with the hanging fire where you got to get it to light the little things or whatever. It's like this would be easier in first person mode because you could tell which way you're moving a little
Yeah.
bit easier.
Now,
But
can you quickly switch between the two?
I haven't even tried. I
Okay.
think you have to go in the settings and
Yeah.
change it from
Um,
first. I mean, you can do it like without starting over a new game, but I haven't. I haven't bothered to look at it.
yeah, I've seen in the new one, it's a settings thing instead of like a button you could press.
Yeah,
But the DLC with the girl, you cannot play that in first person. She don't have a gun for one thing, and I could tell the jank. On the top of that, being just a god awful DLC.
a
I
pointless.
freaking when I did my review, I slaughtered that damn game. It wasn't. It's not a matter of pointless. It's a matter of bad. And so I don't think Resident Evil Village is bad. Um, now, I expect that they'll still throw in some sort of giant lumbering dump thing to chase you because they've definitely been on
It's
that
what it
thing.
looks like in
Yeah,
that trailer,
yeah,
and I'm wondering if that's going to be more of like her. I mean, I imagine at some point her and Leon are going to cross paths, but
yeah,
it's kind of like, you know, you play for one is a little bit, and play for another is a little
yeah.
bit. And
Oh, and another thing I noticed, and so this is another thing where Leon's probably going to be meant to be played. But you could change it between the two characters. So I'm thinking they're also meaning you to play as her in first person, or that's the kind of what they recommend, but you don't have to. But on Leon, I guess what you would call it, contextual kills or whatever. I can't even pronounce the damn shit. But when you're playing Last of Us and there's a fucking wall or something, you just slam the guy against the wall. Leon is doing all kinds of that shit,
yeah,
and
kind
in
of
the new
like
gameplay.
stuff. It's like
Yeah,
like this is here, so I can do that. They kind of did that in some of the Arkham games, where it's like, oh, you're close to this, you can use that,
yeah, yeah.
um, which is kind of neat. I mean, it looks like there's two drastically different types of play style, which would be interesting.
Yeah.
It breaks it up a little bit. At least it's not like Ashley running around with a freaking lantern. It's like this. The female can clearly use a gun, so it's like you're not
No,
completely.
it's not gonna be Revelations 2.
Yeah, yeah, because Revelations 2 is like you remember you bounce back and forth between Barry and the other girl, and it'd be like this
Yeah,
is kind of annoying. Just let
yeah.
me play as Barry.
That
Have her
game,
just run around.
even they fucking designed that shit. Even though they didn't let the PC do it without some kind of hack, they designed it as a co-op game, and only on split screen. Especially when you get to things where you have to be so cooperative with each other. It's not some one guy sitting in another down freaking in his house, freaking 20 miles away. It's like, no, he
Yeah.
needs to point that thing right there in the same screen. And so you need to be able to see his screen. So you point in that thing. And so I would love some co op, but not like that.
No, that's different. That
Yeah.
was totally. That's like when they keep talking about like remaking 5, which I'm sure at some point they'll remake 5, but it's like how they gonna do the single player like computer, like, you know what I mean? It's like, are you?
I would think that there was so much. I've never even really played much. Just that, people shit on Shiva because the computer was playing Shiva, and she would do shit like, "Oh, you've been slightly injured. Let me throw a damn spray paint on your ass."
waste
Or
all
whatever.
our
Yeah, yeah,
waste all our health things. That's
uh,
like me and you almost always played together, so we didn't have to deal with that. But
yeah.
it's like I remember what I would play by myself and be like, this kind of sucks.
It would be like 6, where the computer's essentially immortal, or
Yeah,
they pretty much So you're not babysitting the computer. That would be the probably fundamental damn thing. Just like in Last of Us with when you're playing, I forgot her damn name, but she's just sitting there walking around and stealthing and shit, and it's like, y'all don't see her. She's not even covered right, and she's just immune to the game
yeah.
or whatever.
She's just
That's
there,
probably what
like,
they'll
yeah.
do.
I mean, they
Fallout
might
does the
as
same thing.
well.
I mean, not Fallout, but Starfield does the same way. It's like, oh man, let me just use my dumbass computer player with unlimited bullets to go out here in this hallway, just blow up everything. But that's what I think what they'll do. I don't know. But or hey, they could force. No, they won't force multiplayer, and people will be pissed off. Fuck off of that shit.
Yeah, that would just piss people off.
You got
It's
any
like I like
predictions
the option.
for what they'll do after this? Because I didn't figure they would show something for the 30th anniversary, like a remaster, until this game's out. After this is out, they'll and it's been out for a couple months. They'll throw I think something.
I mean,
So
it seems like after remake 4, I mean, they really kind of made you think like they had Wesker being in it more of like, oh, I'm this is going to lead up to Resident Evil 5.
yeah,
Um, I would almost feel that they would remake Code Veronica before they do 5.
because Resker's a major character in Code
He's
Veronica.
a major character in it, and it's like it's one that hasn't been, five's old, but it's not that old. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like when they redid 2. 2 was kind of like the classic anyway, but I could see them redoing Code Veronica before they did 5, and maybe use some of the stuff from it into to kind of like how they did Resident Evil 3 remake, where it's like it's basically we're running on the same freaking engine. We're
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
it's 3, but don't fuck it up like they did 3.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to allow that to happen anymore. Just leaving it. They were all up in whatever team made 4. They were all up in their butt, and I don't know if they swapped the team out in the middle but they got what they wanted. I got what I wanted. I still think the 4 remake is better than 4 the original, and I know
Oh yeah, it
the biggest
basically
hipsters,
replaced it
yeah,
for me.
yeah, the biggest hipsters
Because
will
I would
yell at
still
us.
play 4 every once in a while. I'd go back and play it, but it's like after the remake came, it was like, yeah, I'm never going back to the original 4 again. There's no point.
Yeah,
Um, Even the freaking downloadable content separate ways was great. I mean, it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
$15, and is like you could get a couple of get 2, 3, 4 hours out of that easily. Um,
Mercenaries suck, but Mercenaries
yeah.
also sucks in Village. And I didn't never play all the DLC they added for 7, but I also kind of think it's like here's all of these side missions. It's like I don't really care. Um,
Yeah.
and it does it'd be one thing if you had a DLC that kind of added into the main game, but I don't care about this. Here's a completely separate side thing that you don't even need to worry about. It's like, well, I'm not going to.
It's like the only thing they were good for in 4 remake was you got the things to trade to the dude. You could trade those things, and some of the stuff he had is very useful. After you got a few things, though, it was like the rest of it was like, who gives a crap?
Yeah,
But six's mercenaries was pretty good.
it was still challenging. There's no
Yeah,
challenge at all in Village, and there's no challenge at all in for remake. I mean,
remake. No,
I played Crawler
I,
one time, and I'm like super S rank, blast him up. I'm like, dude, I should still be trying to learn the character, but no, I've done beat all the high scores or whatever the fuck, and just with the first go.
yeah, it was like literally. I remember because it was like you unlock the hand cannon if you got like certain grades on like every level, and I think I did the whole thing in like 30 minutes with every character they
Yeah,
had.
yeah, it fixed
I
the
mean, I
point.
was like, and I freaking sucked at freaking mercenaries in the original part 4, and I'm like, that was. I mean, it was fun, but that was really easy.
Yeah.
It's like, why
I
am I
don't,
going to
they
go
didn't.
back?
It's like even though you're supposed to do it afterwards, on mercenaries for those they're post game things. The way
Yeah,
it's more of the what was the damn shit in Resident Evil 2? We wouldn't call them mercenaries, but it's something else. They're post game things. It's like you should be competent as a player. They should expect you to be competent. It's like no, you just like your first time. Here you go. Here's your S rank and
yep,
your
nope,
good
you're
boy
good.
awards. In your
I
hand
mean,
candy.
not even try. You don't even know the level layout. You just got an S cannon, got an S award on it.
Yeah,
It's like it's like I don't even know where all the green things are at yet.
you know. So I guess that's where we're at for Resident Evil. So for Stranger Things, I have not seen 5, but you have. So you're going to carry all this kind of conversation. Um,
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about how amazing parts of it were and how not amazing other parts were. Um, so what do you remember from 4? Like, do you remember the end of 4?
it came out in like 2020 or 2021, so that's like 4 years ago. And I know for all the other ones, I've seen them multiple times. I couldn't be bothered to go back. I might have glazed over 4 because I know we did a podcast over it. I might have glazed that
Yeah.
shit back then, but I'm like, I can't be bothered to go through it, and so I
It
kind of
was
got
long.
disillusioned.
It was long and
Yeah,
drawn out.
but what I
Really long
remember
and
was
drawn out.
you had Henry, slash whatever his Freddy Krueger, big bulky alien thing was. Red-headed girl was either possessed or her brain was froze, and then she's paralyzed. They're out in the desert with Brenner, and then that's where you find all of that, like all of Levin's lore is pretty much put out there on the table, and then you learn like the what's the freaking, oh damn it, the big monster, I forgot his name. It's not the Demogorgon, the Mind Flayer, the Mind
the mind
Flayer,
flare. Yeah,
and Henry. They're connected, and so they're not exactly the same, but in a lot of ways Henry's like the avatar for Mind Flayer. That's the way I is what I remember
that's
there.
kind of about yeah. That's about kind of how you could look at it.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you remember much about the ending, like the very end of it,
I
where
know they went back to the town, and it's the roots and shit are all out now, and
yeah,
so the whole town's fucked. Everything's out, and everybody knows about it, or presumably.
presumably. Um, so basically, how they start off in season one is the whole first 5 minutes are exposition because it's been like I think they said it's like been 18 months, so it's been almost 2 years. Um, the entire town has become quarantined, no getting in, no getting out, and they put up fences and everything. It's basically like martial law. Basically, it's like
Yeah,
the military's there. Nobody's leaving. Only certain people come and go, like deliveries and whatnot. And they have put metal plates all where all the things are, like like the little roots and everything.
yeah.
So they just covered it up with metal plates, and they're I mean they're basically like they play it off like it was a massive earthquake. Like there's no like supernatural thing going on. It's just the military's there because they had a massive earthquake like almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
So pretty much everybody in town is still in the dark about like what the actual
That's all
thing's
right. That's the
going on.
first bullshit. What?
Yeah, exactly. Because I was like, at the end of four, I was like, oh well, everybody's gonna know something's going on. There's freaking lava in the middle of the
Yeah.
streets, and shit. It's like it's crazy, and and basically they've all moved into like this radio station, and it says somewhere later on like, oh, the original people left, and we just moved in and started our own radio station because that's what you did in the '80s or whatever, shock jock, whatever, and freaking MTV, and but yeah, it's like the military's come in and like they're chasing down anybody that tries to leave. They stop them. They have delivery trucks come, so it's basically like quarantine. And they're all hunting for Jane Hopper, and they got all these signs up about hunting for Hopper, Jane Hopper, L, whatever. Which is funny because it's like, how did they even know she was there? Because she just came back. I mean, on paper, she should probably still be in California, wouldn't you
Yeah.
think? So it's kind of like, how did they even know? How do they know that she is who she is and actually in the town? It's kind of weird. And it's Linda Hamilton is running this like military group, um, trying to hunt her down, and they're in the know. They know what's going on because it's like the military back in like season two or whatever.
Yeah.
You remember where it's like they all left town or whatever. So and they got their own little lab and they got their own little portal to the upside down, and they're like going in there and doing things and checking and coming back and checking on things, and they got a lab in the upside down. So the first episode is basically setting up that of like it's lockdown, and what the game pretty much altogether has been doing is Hopper goes into the upside down on these things called runs basically, and he's like looking for Vecna so they can figure out where he's been hiding because nobody knows where he's been hiding since like the last season.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes in there and Elle's been training like freaking Rocky Montage. Like she's like, I want to go in there and help you fight, and he's like, hey, you ain't ready, bullshit. Anything to they're like they have tension,
Yeah.
bullshit tension. It's not even necessary because like you would think they'd be really cool with each other right now, especially since she felt that he was probably dead for a while
Yeah.
between season 3 and 4. But so he goes in there like army style, and he sneaks in there, and there's this whole thing about how he gets in there and he looks for who he's looking for, and then he comes out and he's like, didn't find anything. But in this episode, he's going on it, and they found a way to basically track him and still communicate with him in there using like the
Lights.
radio
Oh,
signals.
sick. Okay.
They use radio signals, like it's like a telemetry tracker, so they can use they got one of those like uh vans that radio stations have with the antennas on top, and they can follow him around. They can tell where he's at if they get on his lock. If they can lock in on him, they can tell where he's at in the upside down in town, as opposed to the upside down. So they try to do that. Anyway, they
Oh, what question? Did they have like a lots of entrances and exits now?
not really. There's like there's a handful. Um, I'm trying to remember where the one he actually ends up going in on the military base. He sneaks in. They've got it set up where they have people watching,
Mm-hmm.
and he sneaks through them, and he's got it down to a time limit, and that's what Elle keeps practicing on is like her time. Like, oh, you've got X amount of seconds when they do a delivery into the upside down. Like he goes and hops on one of the vehicles and rides in.
Yeah.
As opposed to just going finding random spots like they used to do, like what in like season 2 and 3 or something like that or whatever. Which I don't think they even go in 3. I don't think. Either way, so he's basically just piggybacking with the army and jumping in their Humvees when they go in, and then he comes out, sneaks out or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Humvees get attacked by Demigorgons or whatever, and he gets he gets stuck there. So they're all freaking out because they can't find him. Um, and trying to remember, that's basically episode 1. It's like, and the only other thing really going on in episode 1 is Robin, the lesbian girl. She ends up dating the girl that she had a crush on in season 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
They end up dating, but nobody knows because it's the 80s and stuff. And Will finds out that they're dating. Because basically at this point, like everybody knows Will's gonna be gay. It's like no secret. Like he's going to. Like the audience knows.
Yeah, yeah.
It's no secret. So you're like he's gonna end up being gay. So he ends up making friends with her, which makes sense. And then Dustin keeps getting beat up at school because he keeps wearing his Hellfire Club shirt because everybody still believes that Eddie is like a murderer.
Yeah, yeah.
From like season 4. So he'll go to school wearing it, and he keeps getting in fights with people and getting the crap beat out of him. So basically, by the end of episode 1, which is pretty good, volume 1 is actually really pretty good.
Yeah,
it's
you're the only one person I've heard say that.
Volume 1, the first 3 episodes are like pretty decent. It's the rest of it where it really falls off. The first episode ends with, oh crap, these things are going after people, and they find out it's going after Holly, who was like the younger sister to Mike and them, who was like real little in all the other seasons.
Yeah.
And at this point, I don't know how old she's supposed to be. I mean, probably like 12 or something. Whatever. She's probably about the age that they were when they first started the show.
Gotcha.
So they're like, oh my God, one of the Demigorgons is going after her. So they tear off going after back to the Wheeler's house. And then that's when the mom is there and the dad, and the Demigorgon attacks the dad, who the dad tries to stand up to it because he never does anything, but then is immediately like nailed and thrown across the building. And then the mom and them hide and then run. And then the mom actually takes a wine bottle and busts it open and tries to kill the Demigorgon, which is kind of interesting because it's like, good luck, But she's standing up trying to protect her kid. It's like she stabs it with a wine bottle a bunch of times.
It's the season 1 super baddies just at Act 5,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. But anyway, she gets brutally beaten, and then the Demigorgon gets Holly and takes off into. They can make their own doorways.
Yeah.
So it makes the doorway, flies into it, and then about that time, Elle and Nancy show up, and Elle just goes at. They're like, just go after the Demigorgon. So she ends up in the upside down, while they're taking care of the mom, taking her to the hospital. Who she's bad, but she lives. And then basically at this point, it's like Elle and Hopper meet up in the upside down, and Hopper's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Why? It's a whole lot of like, why are they going after this? Why are they doing this? We still can't find this dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out it's like Holly ends up getting taken to the upside down. She wakes up and she's in this like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood type thing with this guy called Mr. Whatsit. And apparently she's been having this like invisible friend that nobody can see, and they've been telling the parents like, hey, she's talking to somebody that ain't there, and she calls him Mr. Whatsit. So you see, it's the Mister What's It, and it's like the big secret is
Miss Vecna?
they go. It's Vecna. It's him in like his Henry form,
Okay.
and they end up going to the hospital and they're talking to the mom, and the mom's writing out everything like this is what his real name is, like Henry or something, and you're just like, at this point, the audience has kind of already figured out like, oh, she's talking to Vecna, and he's like in her mind, and he's got her
It's
set
because
up in this like
it's
house.
still like Nightmare on Elm Street kind of
It's
dream thing.
very
Yeah.
much, yep. It's very much still Nightmare on Elm Street, and she's like in this house. She can do whatever she wants. It's like, and the actress does a pretty good job. She's actually fairly entertaining, um, to be young and everything. So anyway, she ends up in this like and the guy's and she thinks the guy's real nice. He's being honest, and he basically tells her like, "I'm saving you from the monsters," and he's befriended her and whatever. Um, and that basically kind of sets up episode. That's like the third episode, and then the fourth is the end of volume one. Um, and basically, it's like them trying to figure out how to figure out who he's targeting. And it turns out Will is still technically connected to the Mind Hive, and if he gets near somebody, he can tell when somebody like either Vecna or like a Demigorgon is like following him around on the opposite upside down, thing. So they find out that he's tracking somebody else in her class whose name is Derek. And have you seen any of the previews at all?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I've seen a lot of stuff. I wouldn't say I would seen previews.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's like he's the heavy set kid. It's got glasses on,
Yeah, I've seen something like that. He flips people
and
off or something.
yep, he's like an asshole, and they call him dipshit Derek. And they're like, "Oh my god, this guy's such an asshole." And so they find out like, "Oh, he's coming after him next." So they come up with this convoluted plan of we're going to go and poison him and his parents and hide them somewhere. Because you remember, like in season two, if Vecna was looking through somebody's eyes, he could tell where they're at. Kind of, there's a lot of ties to season two in this
Yeah.
season.
Okay.
A lot of ties to it. Um, so anyway, they go and they home alone the house, and then they wait for the Demigorgon to show up after they've drugged this kid and his family, who will never mention the family ever again for the rest of the show. After they got drugged by Erica, their friend, Lucas's sister or whatever. So anyway, they home alone this Demigorgon, and they take one of those little telemetry trackers and they shoot it into his back so that way they can track him. Hopefully, it'll lead them to like Vecna's lair on the upside down because they assume it's going back home.
Okay.
Um, so that's when they get back in the car and they're like, we'll, follow it around, and they start following around. Long story short, it ends up coming to where they had Derek because Derek woke up and freaked out that they were like, he's basically like Cartman from South Park.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? He's very much like Cartman from South Park. And either way, the thing shows up trying to get him, and then they end up, and every time it gets near, Will starts freaking out because he's like attracted to it or something. Um, but they end up following it into a hole with their car, and it's like Steve is there, and Dustin's there, and Nancy's there. Oh, and Jonathan's there. So they end up flying through, going into the upside down into a car, and then like geniuses, they're driving in the upside down, which is crazy and chaotic, and they're driving like really fast, and they crash into a wall. Because like that's what you do. You wouldn't slow down to look.
You gotta jump. You gotta jump the roots, bro. Just drop them.
Yeah, just jump them. So they crash into this wall, and it's also a wall that Hopper and Elle found when they were walking around. It's like this some big unpenetrable wall, and she couldn't break through it, and that's when they end up. There's a lot of jumping around, but either way, like the Hopper and Elle keep having to run away from the military people. So anytime they find the military people, they basically kill them. We'll get back to that later too.
Yeah.
But they have a kryptonite. Basically, it's like a sonic weapon, but they'll strap it on top of vehicles, and it like makes her start basically like season kind of a little bit. So it's like she can't use her powers, or she can't even hardly walk around when that thing's going on. So it's like Hopper gets to basically he ends up killing a lot of military people. Like I said, we'll get back to that later. A lot of military people get killed, and then they find out that like Linda Hamilton has a base in the Upside Down and she's hiding something there. And they're like, they must have found Vecna and they're hiding him there and they've got him blocked off in this room. And they're like, we got to break into this military base and kill Vecna. Um, so at this point in the right side in the regular world, they end up talking to Derek and they're like, this dude's an asshole. He's not the Mr. What's It guy's not helping you. He's evil, and and all that, and they turn him into Delightful Derek. They're like, you need to be able, because they have a plan. He needs to find out who of the children because he's obviously getting children, like back to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, yeah.
And apparently he needs 12 because like for some damn reason. Um, so anyway, it's like their plan is we're going to find all the children that he's made contact with, and we're going to freaking go and hide them somewhere. Well, in the process of that, the military starts showing up and starts rounding up all the children in the classrooms at a certain age.
So they know
That
they know
happens-
too.
They
Okay.
know something's up too. They don't know which ones they're targeting, but they know they're targeting some, so they do that. Um, and so it's like they know something's going on. But they also don't know. They think that they don't know if it's Elle that's kidnapping the children or somebody else, and they don't care. They're just trying to stop it from happening. But they're also experimenting on like demigorgons because they want to use them to fight Russians. Because we're back to that plot of like we gotta send these over here overseas to fight people instead of us.
It
So
worked so great in Resident Evil and Aliens. Okay.
yeah, exactly. It's like we gotta weaponize these freaking things. So basically, you've got Ellen Hopper breaking into a military base, killing more freaking military guys that we'll get back to later, and then you've got the other three that are trying to figure out what this wall is, and then they find out that the wall is all the way around the town, and it centers on the Upside Down lab of the Upside Down. So they're like, whatever's here, this has to be the source. So they're going toward the lab. Um, and then on the right side up, they're trying to figure out how we can get all these kids out of this military base. So they got this plan. We're going to expedite all these kids out through tunnels because they have a lot of tunnels that were made from like, I guess, was it season one? They had tunnels underground
I thought it was
with
yeah, but two. I think it was really in
two
two with
had it
the
too with
pumpkins.
the
Was it
pumpkin patches.
Yeah. Okay.
It was the pumpkin patches because they kept rotting.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of them where they'd go in there and go through the tunnels. So they're like, we can use these tunnels and get up in there, and we'll get Delightful Derek to get the kids that all hate him to like. Basically, he figured out how to talk to the kids to be like which ones have been talking to Mr. Whatsit.
Gotcha.
So, and then on the flip side, Holly, who's been in this house, basically Henry tells her like, "Hey, don't go in the woods. You can do whatever you want. You can't go in the woods. There's monsters in the woods. They'll kill you." So she finds this letter in the mailbox that says, "Hey, it's Henry. You need to go into the woods." Um, and she's like, "Oh, Henry must need my help. I gotta go in the woods. He told me not to." And anyway, she goes through the woods and you find Max there, and it's like she's been trapped in this memory for like 18 months now,
Yeah.
and she can go from memory to memory, but she can't find a way to get out of the memories. Like she ends up going through Henry's memories, and then she goes through her memories. But every time she thinks she's about to get out, she doesn't because she sees an exit, and then she decides to sit there and fiddle fart around and not do anything. And then by the time she gets to the exit, it closes. So more on that later. And then by the end of episode 4, which is the end of the first volume, the Demigorgons are all covered out. They're attacking the military. Kill the guns do nothing, and then Vecna shows up and just starts slaughtering people. It's the first time he showed up in the season, and they redesigned him. He looks more like Stick instead of like Swamp Thingish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He has more of like you can tell they used a lot of visual effects on him, so he looks more like he's like a stick man from Diablo 2 Act 3 or whatever.
Gotcha.
And he's just, obliterating people, throwing them around, killing them. And then he ends up finding Will, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's like I broke your ass. You were the first. That's why I use children because they're easy or whatever. Not that he's a pedo or anything like that."
Yeah.
So anyway, he picks up Will, throws it down, whatever, and then he goes to leave. Well, the Demigorgons are going to get all the kids, and they've got the kids. They've actually taken them to the upside down, but they're about to kill the people that they're around, and it's like Robin is about to get killed by one, Lucas is about to get killed by one, and then Mike is about to get killed by one, and Will ends up tapping into his powers or whatever. It turns out he's like connected to the mind hive, and he can make them elevate. And he does the same thing to them that Vecna was doing to people in the season 4 stuff, where he like breaks their arms and snaps their legs or whatever, and they drop to the ground. He does that, and then his nose starts bleeding. So you're like, oh crap, the guy's got powers, and that's the end of volume 1.
Okay, so now how many weeks were between 1 and 2? Do you remember?
It feels like, you mean like between episode 1 and 2?
I mean, for volume 1 and 2, how many weeks before Netflix started doing them
Oh,
again?
before they dropped it?
Yeah.
Volume 1 came out on Thanksgiving, and Volume 2 came out on Christmas
Okay,
Day.
so just about a
So
month.
it's like about a month, little less than a month, about 3 weeks. So, like I said, Volume 1 was actually pretty interesting. Everything had like urgency to it. All the characters had something they were doing. Everything was fairly cool. It wasn't bad. It's like it was like, I thought like, oh man, this is going, if they keep going like this, because season 4 to me was just slow.
Yeah.
They kept going to the prison, getting out of the prison, going back to the prison. Elle's trying to get her powers back, and third time's the charm, bullshit like that. It's like they kept dragging it out. This is like everybody's got something to do that's actually fairly interesting. But yeah, they, like I said, that was decent. That would have been Thanksgiving, and then you get 3 weeks, and then they released Volume 2, which was like episodes 5, 6, and 7. And then they released Volume 8 on like New Year's Eve.
Gotcha.
So
now
like I said,
volume 7, was that was like a big movie type, right? Or were they all movies as far as length?
lengthwise, they weren't too bad. Volume 8 was like, not episode 7, I think, was like, I forget exactly how long that one was. They all moved pretty fast. The last episode was like almost 2 hours long.
Okay.
But
see, now I remember back in 4, there was like, I think, multiple ones. They were like,
oh
feature
god,
length.
almost every one.
Yeah.
They were like feature length. And like I said, episode 8 was, I don't remember 7 being super long. And the only reason I say that is because episode 7 really felt like a filler episode, and actually kind of episodes 5, 6, and 7 felt like filler episodes to build up to the finale.
Okay.
It was like it really kind of dropped off after episode 4 of like, well, now we're doing stuff, but it's not as interesting. Like, it's like, oh, this is all build up to episode 8. Like, it's like it's building, but not really super great. So, any crazy questions about Volume 1 yet?
No, that it's all basically making sense. There's some things just like, well, the way they ended season 4, you thought that the entire town was going to be attacked by dummies, and you felt like
exactly.
it was a zombie.
It was like they were going to be
kind of thing.
Yep. And that's what was so weird about this. Because like, man, everybody's going to know about it. There ain't no hiding this. There's freaking, and it's like, oh no, it's just it was an earthquake, and we're going to quarantine your town for indefinitely. It's like,
because it was like bad Earth, bro. Okay.
Bad Earth, man. We can't have anybody just coming in here.
There's a lot of iron and manganese in it. It's just, concentration's bad.
You just can't do that. And it was like even in the first episode where it's like Robin's on the radio talking about like, yeah, it's like, month so and so of our containment, and it's like, and what's the military do? They come and put metal plates on all the roads, and it's just like, yeah, I would have thought, like, it seemed like at the end of season 4, like, oh, these Demogorgons are going to be all over the fucking place. Like, they're going to be coming out of the freaking ground. They're going to be eating people.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, Resident Evil 2, everywhere. But not quite. Everybody, it's like, in fact, the only people that know what's going on is, like, the military and
Snort.
The Wheeler's parents now. And I don't even know about the dad, because it doesn't show the dad again until the very end of the last episode.
He's got to hold down that chair, bro.
He's in the basically they go to see him in the hospital, and it's like the dad's like, nobody goes to see the dad. The mom is in like critical condition. She got beat up bad, but it's like the dad got slapped and got nailed. He's fine. He's in a induced coma. Your mom's just got out of surgery, and it's like that you don't see that dad again until like the very last like part of the series, and it's like, well, that's
That's all
about
right.
right.
Nancy's the dad now. Okay, it's fine.
Nancy is the Rambo now. Um, she's basically like, give me the guns and all that. So anyway, 3 weeks later, you get volume two, and everybody's like, "Oh, this one's called Shock Jock. Are they going to kill Robin or whatever? They're going to do something." So, and you're thinking like, "Oh, this is cool. Will can connect to the mind hive mind, and if he can make those guys float and break them, what's stopping him from like controlling them?" So I'm personally thinking like, um, do you remember that one Resident Evil movie? It was one of the CGI ones that was terrible, but the guy that could control the liquors, so he made all the liquors start attacking like the Mister X guys or whatever.
I think I vaguely remember some lame shit like
It
that.
anyway, I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if he could control those liquors and that way when you have your final battle, it's like an army of liquors versus like the mind flayer or something like that.
Yeah,
But we ain't getting that. So
that's a lot of
that
CG,
would have been
bro.
cool. But anyway, they're trying to figure out like maybe if we can connect Will back to the mind hive, he can tell us where everything's at and where everybody else is at. So they go and get like one of the dead corpses that he killed, and they hook it up to like the radio station. It has like a big generator on it, and they hook it up to it, and try to regenerate it, and he can hook into the mind, and he ends up seeing like Vecna's like thought process. And at this point, Holly and Max are trying to figure out a way to get out of
The
their
memories.
mind
Yeah,
thing, their memories. So he starts chasing them down, and they all the kids end up in the house, and it's like Derek is like, um, he's not really saying anything because he knows what's going on,
yeah.
but it's like they're like, we got to get out of here. So they start trying to escape, and Holly and Max, and then they find out they've been followed, and they start looking, and it's Derek is following, and they're like, and Holly only knows Derek is dipshit. Derek doesn't know he's been trying to help the kids escape, and she's like, "Why the hell are you here?" Basically, you find out like, "Oh, he's delightful Derek now, not dipshit Derek." So their thing is Vecna is going to is hunting them down, and they
Mm-hmm.
know. So they basically tell him, "Go back there to the kids, and we need you to distract him." Because Vecna can't do his thing if he doesn't have all 12 kids. So he
Yeah.
don't want to kill any of them, but like he needs all 12 because faces on a clock. I guess I don't fucking know. It doesn't really go into it why he needs 12. Anyway, so basically, at this point, he knows Henry is Vecna, and he chases him down, and he's like, "Where did you get this? And why are you out here?" And his response is like, "Your mom," or something like that. And it's like so funny. This fat little kid knows this is a demon that could throw him across the world, and he's like, "Your Bob." So basically, he takes Derek. He tells Derek like, "Hey, if you don't go back and play ball, like I'm gonna kill your freaking parents." So he takes Derek back to the house, and then he goes off hunting for Holly and Max. And then while they're running, uh, Will is inside Vecna's mind, and he can see like, oh my God, Holly's there and Max is there. So it's like now they're like, oh wait, wait, she's still alive in this coma, but
Yeah,
she's
but
somewhere.
she's more. Yeah,
She's trapped. So he's trying to use Vecna to tell her like, hey, run, get the hell out of here. And Will's trying to control Vecna, which Vecna basically just shuts him out. Like, you can get the fuck out of here. Um, so they're still trying to figure out how to get out of these his mind, and they come across a memory because there's a cave that Max has been hiding in that Vecna will not go into. And she's like, I don't know why he won't come in here, but he's terrified of this freaking cave. So they end up in this one part where they're in one of his memories as a kid, and he's in this cave, and apparently this ties to like the Broadway play. So like I guess some of this would make more sense if you saw that, but that
yeah. I'm not seeing that.
who else go? No, nobody's seeing that shit. It's like it's nice that they tied it in, but don't expect people to like know what it's about. And they find this memory where he's a Boy Scout and he's trying to help some guy that's trapped in a cave, like he fell and he's hurt, and he stole a suitcase from somebody who ends up being like not the original Papa, not Papa that Elle knew, but like the one before that or something, because apparently they've been doing these experiments forever.
Yeah.
And the guy freaks out and thinks he's trying to hurt him or something, like he's trying to turn him in, like, you know, and basically tries to attack Henry, and Henry just beats him to death with a rock. So apparently it's like a turning point for this poor kid to become fucked up.
Gotcha.
And he drops the suitcase, and later on you find out inside the suitcase is like some stone that's like part of the mind flayer, and when he touches it, it basically gives him like his powers, like his L powers, I guess you'd call it. Um, and he basically is like, "Come find me," but it's the mind flayer telling him to come find him, and it's like the mind flayer's using Henry as like his guy to like do his bidding.
Gotcha.
And that's why you see him more than you see the mind flayer. Because I don't think we've seen the mind flayer since season 3. I don't think, minus that little bit in
There
season
was like
4.
some cut scenes, some like flashbacks or whatever. So
Yeah, it's very in between. So anyway, they're trying to find a way out, and I do need to go back to something else that was at the end of volume 1. I forgot about this because it's a stupid character. Um, they Elle and Hopper end up getting into that lab and open it up, and they're thinking they're going to find Vecna. And it turns out they're not finding Vecna. They found the girl from season 2 that everybody hated.
Kira,
Yeah,
what's it?
she's it.
Yeah.
That I think that was her name. But you remember the one she met in like Chicago or whatever?
Yeah, and even though season 2's actually pretty good, that's what you kind of remember is that crazy punk shit in the city.
Yeah, that one random episode.
And
that,
I
like,
almost
didn't fit
think,
with the rest.
almost just a society, I probably already talked to this, I think almost being in the city, being away from the town, has more of effect than actually that Kira character does. It's like, oh, these are just shitheads in the city, and then like, I don't want to get to the city. We'll go back to the town.
Yeah, go back to the other characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot to bring that up. They had a couple of big things at the end of volume 1 that were like, oh, well, it's that girl. And they had her locked up in this chamber where it's like a hyperbaric type chamber with those little things going on it, and it's like she can't use any of her powers because of the kryptonite, whatever. So they get her to escape. So she ends up, you know, befriending Elle again of like, you know, what are they doing? It's like, and she's like, well, I tried to escape one time, and then I almost got out, but I found out before I got out they were using her blood. They kept taking Kira's blood and giving it to these pregnant ladies, trying to make them have babies that had powers.
Gotcha.
And that's when they were like, and basically what it comes down to is like, they were, all of us that were in that group as kids, they were giving us Henry's blood, our parents' blood, to try to make us have powers as kids, kind of like how they did with her mom that they kind of talked about in season 2.
Yeah, I remember.
And Kira's like, look, there's only one way to stop this. We all got to die. Like, we can stop the lab, but like somebody else is just going to show right back up and start doing the same freaking thing. We're always going to be hunted. We're always going to be looked for. It's like the only way out of this. Basically, she's telling us like, you got to kill yourself. You are the strongest one of all of us and the closest one to Henry. It's like, but if as long as you're alive, somebody's going to use your blood to try to make more babies.
Fake your death, which has already been done like 40 times in this series.
40 billion times. Yeah, exactly. And it's like they have a lot of fake outs. Like there's one part where you think Hopper's going to go like sacrifice himself to blow up something, and you're like, dude, he just got back. They did all that in season 3 or 4. They ain't doing that shit again.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they're not killing it now. So Hopper's, by this point, all of them have met back up in the Upside Down, and they're like trying to figure out what they need to do. And then they half of them end up back at the, they've made it to the lab in the Upside Down, and Justin and Steve keep fighting because of stupid shit. They're like, why do you keep being an asshole? You're getting beat up. It's like, who gives a fuck?
Get good, scrub.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. And then it's like, and it turns out inside that lab, some of the walls have started melting, like in a weird way, and it kind of reminds me of
some of the perimeter walls. No, you're talking about in the lab. Okay.
In the lab, it's like they've started melting and like losing their structural integrity. Like the molecular level has changed, and it kind of reminded me of some of that old like Philadelphia experiment stuff, where
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, the ship showed back up and there was people formed into the walls. You know, like they phased through the walls and shit. Um, and they had this long drawn out scene where like Jonathan and Nancy are like in this room and they're like, we're gonna die here and we might as well just start being honest with each other. And he was been planning on proposing to her, but he's like, you know what, like this shit ain't working and I'm gonna unpropose to you. So it's like people are like, did they break up or did they get engaged? I got the clear impression they broke up. That's what it felt like, because like it's just it felt like they were just not on the same page most this season or last season, I think.
Now
But they're like
it
they're
was
going,
two when it was two season two where they were together doing a lot of detective shit,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. And then in three they were doing some. They were tracking. She was working for the paper or whatever. But like you know, it's like they were kind of off a little bit because they're away from each other in season four, and it's like in this one, it's like they're she's clearly on a different at a different place in her mind than he is probably. Um, so but there's this long. I mean, it's like 10, 15 minutes long of like one of y'all need to fucking die. You know, it's like I don't care which one. One of y'all need to die, and then the room stops melting. Um, and it's like no big deal. And then they end up getting out. And then, but
Oh, but I still
Dustin,
hate you, by the way.
exactly, that's about how it is.
You
It's
don't
like
even know how to use guns good enough.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll get back to Nancy and her guns later. She don't know how to cock one either. Apparently, they just escape right over that. But they find out basically it's a wormhole. The upside down is the wormhole part, and the dimension X is where the mind flare is. That looks like a desert. So it's like Vecna's trying to merge the upside down through the wormhole to the actual regular town.
Okay.
So that's where the wall comes in. The wall is actually part of the wormhole where you've seen the drawings of wormhole. It's like a big
Yeah,
funnel, but
yeah.
it
Well,
like flares out.
and it's either
Um,
be like a kind of circular optical illusion shit, or you just can't get out of it, or something. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what it is, and that's what they learn. It's like this is just a wormhole. Like he's trying to he needs these kids because God knows why. Why he needs
It's
these
one for
12 back
each
kids.
mind flare arm. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there was something in that explanation of that show, but volume two, like I said, is where it really kind of starts falling off. You're just like, okay, there's cool stuff, but like, you know, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
It's like, so anyway, you can kind of corral episodes 5 and 6 into like one whole episode and not really miss anything. Um, and then in episode seven's where things kind of start coming together. Um, Holly and Max find a way out, and it's like basically like you got to find something worth hanging on to, blah blah blah, some bullshit. And they see it looks like they're at the final battle of episode 4, where it's like the red place where he had them like all tied up or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like Max sees her doorway out, and it's Lucas playing music for her, and she's like, "That's my doorway out." She's like, "I have to leave you here though because like there's no doorway for you." And she ends up like giving her some motivational speech, and then her doorway opens up, as an audience member, you're like, she's not going to go where she's going to end up wherever Vecna's holding her body. This is just her in a dream world, so this ain't going to go well for her.
Yeah.
So anyway, they stand there and they talk for about 3.5 hours while these portals are sitting there, and they're like, and the whole time the audience, as an audience member, you're like, get your
Just
fucking ass through that
get.
portal.
Yeah.
Stop
Yeah.
dicking around. And so they end up leaving, and Holly ends up. I mean, Max ends up going back. She wakes up in Lucas's arm because like the Demigorgons are coming after Max in the hospital because like Vecna's figured out where she's at. Um, so basically, she wakes up, but she's like completely like you remember like Kill Bill where it's like apathy
Yeah.
or
She can't get
whatever.
wiggle the
Yeah,
big toes and all that shit.
yeah, she can't move for shit. She's like she can see and she can hear and talk, but like she has like really no physical movement. And they're running from the Demigorgons, and the Demigorgons chase them down to the laundry room, and they're like, "Oh shit, we're gonna die here." And then like Mama Wheeler goes and gets like this oxygen tank. scrounging around in the hospital, dragging one leg and barely moving, and puts an oxygen tank in a dryer, and it blows up and kills the demigorgons. And then, yeah, it's fucking fuck all at this point. So they're like, "Oh, you saved us, whatever, bullshit." And then she's like, "I'm going with you," and it's like, "Lady, you look like you can barely, like you should be dead. Like
She's
you
still
need to
mom
sit
though,
here."
okay?
She's still
But
mom, and
but
that's what it comes down to.
what's
She's still mom.
but it's just is it just Max there? Who else was there? None of her kids.
Max was there. Lucas was there,
So her
and
actual kids ain't there.
her actual kids aren't there. Um, it was just Lucas, Max, Robin, and Robin's girlfriend, and
Just
Robin
as an
has to.
aside, you've not mentioned Mike the whole fucking time. You've been on this for an hour, which means Mike ain't even a fucking character anymore.
I'm trying to remember. There is a cool scene later where he almost dies in episode 4, where they do this like you ever seen like the movies where they do like the one shot filming angle thing where they like the
They do a big thing in one
a
scene.
tracking
Oh, yeah,
shot.
yeah.
And there's a scene with that where he's doing a lot of tracking stuff. But other than that, he's had a lot of busy work. It's like, he's like L's in the upside down, shit like that. Fucking Deb. Him and Will keep having awkward conversations because he ain't taking a clue that, that Will is gay for him.
Yeah,
Um,
that's big main character energy right there.
Yep. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's like, and he's helping people do stuff, but he's not doing a whole awful lot. And I'm sure somebody will hear me be like, he's like, well, he did such and such. He's like, did he really do anything?
I've heard that he's kind of not even remotely a focal point anymore. So because you got too many characters, so
there's too many. There really is too many characters. Like at this point, it's like there's a lot of shit going on in different areas, and all the areas are fairly. But like you remember Erica, who actually did a pretty good amount, and she did a lot in season 3, and she did a good amount in season 4. She's got like one scene in like volume,
and everybody liked her.
Everybody
the
liked her.
The sassy black girl kind of. Well,
I bet
not even
she's
a little
got-
girl. That's what made it
Yeah.
even better.
Yeah, she was a little girl. She has a prominent scene in volume 1, like the 4th episode or whatever, and then she's like in the very end, like the last of the series when they're doing like their epilogue. She's in that. Other than that, she's not really in anything else.
Yeah.
And it's like Mike, he's around, but he's not like the focal point. I mean, I was about to say you. I'm trying to think of anybody that gets less actually to do than him. And there might not be. Like of the main ones, he might have the least amount of stuff to do.
Yeah.
I mean, mine is like giving pep talks to somebody every few minutes. That's about it.
Listen, another aside, he's growing up ugly, bro.
Yeah,
That's rough shit.
just
That's fucking.
just yeah. I mean, it's like he's like giving Will like, oh man, you can tap in. You could be like a sorcerer or whatever, and it's just like, okay. You guys are like 17 or 18 at this point. It's like,
no, they're
you've
35 and
fought
37,
demons.
bro.
You've literally fought demons. Why are you carrying around Dungeons and Dragon pieces in your pocket to hand to your sister? It's like just silly shit like that, and you're like, whatever. So anyway, they get out, and then you cut to Holly. Holly is like trapped in this little sidewall thing, like kind of like how Will was in one of the seasons.
Yeah.
And she's escaping. Now here's a very funny thing. In this, it's when she's pulling herself out of this thing, she has an Under Armour logo on her arm of her shirt.
Which don't
And
exist.
which doesn't exist, because people online were like, that shit didn't come out till the fucking 90s. And it was like, oh, whatever, man. Shit's going to happen in shows like that. Continuity's hard to do, completely. But it's very prominent Under Armour logo.
Well, one thing in particular about this, when it being such a nostalgia shit, where you had the Mr. T cereal and you remember the little cereal, they were always on point. The freaking Pepsis and Doritos were always on point. So anything like that would get extra attention.
Oh yeah, because like when it shows Derek, Delightful Derek's room, it is literally, and same with Holly. Holly's room is like a montage to the 80s. Derek's room literally has like Transformer bed sheets. Like he's playing Ghost and Goblins on Nintendo. He's got a Pee-wee's Big Adventure picture on the back wall. It's like it's right up 80s.
And all of that shit requires licensing and merchandise. Although I'm sure they're all thrilled to be there
Oh yeah, I'm
But
sure.
yeah, they were always on point, and it was like a highlight of the show.
Yeah, I mean it is straight up like I mean you see his bedroom and you're like that's a fucking rich because supposedly they're like rich, they're real estate
Yeah.
people, and you're like that would be a rich kid's bedroom, and Holly's is straight up like preteen 80s whatever. But the funny thing about the Under Armour logo, they edited it out I think before the series finale dropped.
So they
Between
went
that
back
week,
and fixed it.
they went back and changed it. They
They were
literally
embarrassed.
changed it.
They're
I
fucking
was like, that's almost more noticeable that they changed it than if they'd just left it alone.
yeah.
But they literally changed it before the series finale came out, like a week later, and I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. And according to my daughter, they changed a couple of things. She said they changed a couple of things, like in Volume One. It's like if you really rewatch it, which means they were editing this shit like on the fly, which we'll come back to later also. Um, but anyway, to shorten things up, she tries to escape out of that. She's in Dimension X, and she's running through the desert from Vecna. And she finds a hole in the ground under a rock, and she's like, I can just jump into this and get to the upside down. So she jumps through that to get to the upside down. The problem is now that she's going down, she's
She turned around
falling
and go
from the
up.
sky.
Remember
No,
that? No. Okay.
no, it's different because it's Dimension X. So she's not only falling through the ground, she's falling through the sky like thousands of feet. And you're like, this girl's going to hit the ground and go splat. Like there's just no, she ain't walking away for this. And she's falling, and they see her because she's falling where the upside down science place is. So
So
Dustin and them are like,
El can rescue her using telekinesis, man. Am I reading
yeah.
that? All right, okay.
But you're reading that, but you're not. But that's not exactly what happens. She's falling through the sky like this. Like this girl's gonna hit this building and just be done. And then all of a sudden she gets stopped in the air, and it's Vecna pulling her back
Who
up
needs
from
her
the
alive?
who needs her alive. He's
There
like,
you go. There you
can't
go.
let her die.
All right.
So he ends up pulling her back up and recapturing her. And they're like, oh shit, we almost had her back and she's gone. So that's when they're like, this is a wormhole. And then they come to this idea of like, well, how do we stop the wormhole? Because he's got all his people. He's already in the process of merging, and he's basically it's like Dimension X is going to lower down through the wormhole and make contact, and then go down into the upside down into the real world.
Gotcha.
It's like as it squishes the upside down. So they're sitting there trying to figure out all this plan of like, how the fuck do we do this? It's like let's get a helicopter and we'll fly up there and we'll fucking kick his ass, or we'll get an airplane or rocket or something. And then Steven comes up with the idea, which actually makes sense. Just let him fucking do it. It's like let him do it, and when he gets close enough, we'll just. And they're like, we have this radio tower, so we'll go climb the radio tower, and when that radio tower meets the real radio tower, we'll just climb through one to the other, and then we'll go up there and kick his ass. So that's their plan, is to do that, and then they're going to set off a bomb that will blow up, like disrupt the wormhole. It basically destroy the upside down as a bridge. So that's their plan. It's like we'll go up there, we'll kick his ass, we'll set a bomb off, and it'll blow it. The upside down will be gone. He'll be gone, and we just get the fuck out before it goes off. So that's their big plan, which is like not terrible. I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And then Will is like, you know what? He's been using me to fight. He's trying to scare me, and he's like, and I can't let him use this against me. He runs my fears. He's like, I need to talk to all y'all. So he sits all of them down, and they literally have like a 15, 16-minute
Struggle
conversation.
Session. Yeah. Everybody's heard about this.
Yeah, where he comes out, which is fine, but it's like it was really long. It was really long for something that could have been like a minute and a half. And it's like, okay, yeah, we all figured this was coming. It's like we let it go. It didn't need to be 15 minutes long.
It's not just gay, he's super gay, okay?
It's like ridiculous. I mean, the memes have been hilarious. How like the U.S. government captured that dude like from freaking Venezuela in less time than he came out of the closet. I mean, it's like absurd. It's like this didn't need to be a 10-minute, 15-minute conversation. This could have been an email, a text, a phone call. So anyway, and of course everybody's like all accepting of like, oh yeah, we still love you, whatever. Obviously not very '80s like, because all I could think was like growing up in the '80s. If one of our friends had said that, we wouldn't judge him probably, but we would rag on him for fun, you
Oh,
know.
we actually absolutely did in high school. So, and that
I
wasn't
mean
even the
that's
'80s.
just
So,
yeah, exactly. Like you'd rag and not like oh man, you
and
homo.
then
It was more
everybody
like
would go around them. We're gonna go gay bashing. You know any gay
yeah,
people? It's like, I don't know. We're
yeah.
gonna go gay bashing though. It's like, what the fuck's that?
Exactly. We didn't even know, didn't care. It was just a freaking just for funs and giggles, like, and I'm like, oh man, it's like somebody we knew came out like that in the middle of all us. We would just start like, dude, we knew that a long time ago,
Yeah, yeah.
it was like, but either way, so they do this whole thing, and you're like, in your mind, you're like, well, if he can connect to the hive, maybe he can like help fight the demigorgons or whatever when they get to the dimension. So anyway, half of them set off to go kill Vecna, and the other half go off to set the bomb off, so that way they can set it up to like blow up everything and squash it. So they both two teams have two things to do. Um, and then they leave back Max, and then Max can't walk. So what they do is they
Just to
they
decide,
put her.
is two teams of 24. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's two teams of 24, and Max gets left with the girlfriend that Robin's been dating, who's a nurse. So it's like, this is what you do now. You roll this person around. Y'all never met before, but just roll her around. She's all right. So basically, that's their plan. So you've got them go. They start trekking across the desert, and you're like, there's not a lot going on in this damn desert. Like you think there would be like demigorgons all over the fucking place and shit going
Mm-hmm.
on. No, there ain't shit. They literally just walk right on up to the freaking thing and just like, oh, there he is. Like we could kick his ass or whatever. And then Elle and Kira and Hopper go to set up the bomb, and of course you're like, Hopper's like, are you serious? Like he overheard Kara basically telling her like, you need to fucking kill yourself, and he's like, surely you're not going to do this. He's like, this is stupid, fuck it, whatever. And she's like, never says yes or no, basically just like, like let me make my own choices.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, they get attacked by military. Hopper kills more military people, lots and lots of him killing military people, and in the process of because they have their little kryptonite things. So like Hopper's basically the only one that can really do anything to him. And in that
Does
process,
that shit work
cares
on
about
Will as well, or did that even go?
you never find out
Okay.
because he never ends up in this. He never ends up doing anything
Okay.
anywhere besides. It's like they built up that he can control these demigorgons. Like that opens up a lot of doors. Well, we won't know because it never really actually does anything after that. Um. So anyway, Kara's about to get shot, and Hopper's going to stop it. And in the process of he disables the kryptonite, and the gun goes off. You don't see her get shot, but she basically is bleeding out. You
Mm-hmm.
just see the gun, and you're like, "Is this real? Or is this one of her, fucking magic tricks?" Because hers was all illusion, if you remember.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's bleeding out, and they're like, "She's gonna die. She's a goner. She's gonna bleed out. She dies." And then Elle's like, we got to fucking end this shit. So they set up bombs, and then Elle, and I don't even remember exactly how she ends up getting into the Dimension X thing, but anyway, she ends up fighting um, Vecna, and she's like more powerful or whatever than she was. She's they're just kind of going
Hey,
back and
Vecna's
forth
already lost
bullshit.
to her anyway, so
Exactly. So it's like they're kind of going back and forth. Um, and at this point, they're inside the Mind Flayer. That's where his layer's been, is inside the Mind Flayer in Dimension X. So they're fighting on the inside, and everybody else, the party of 24 down there, is just shooting them. They're shooting them with like water balloons that I guess have gas in them or something. Even though the gas would like destroy the water
it's
balloon because that's how
1980s
gas
Taco
works.
Bell gas. Okay, it's
That's
fucking
exactly what
extreme
it is.
fatal. You're gonna die.
So they're trying to lure him into like this canyon, and Nancy's like, "I'll be the bait," and she's got an M16, and she racks this top side of it to cycle the rounds into it, which is not how an M16 works at all. Um, you know, So she ends up getting them into this corridor, and they all from the above just start attacking the fuck out of it. And then Elle's killing Vecna and basically slams him onto like something like it's like a stalagmite, stalactite, whatever on the ground, and it's
Yeah.
going through his chest. So he's like dying. And then the mind flayer die because they're kind of connected to each other and they
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
need each other. And they try to do this redeeming arc where Will is like, "You're just like me, man. You're a
No.
victim. You know, you
No.
you didn't choose this." And then
No. Freddy Krueger is an asshole who has to be killed.
exactly. And then and Vecna's like, "No, man. It's like he didn't take advantage of me. We did this together." It's like, it's like there's no like he used me. I fucking used him too. It's like we want this shit to happen. So, and then all of them end up going into the little thing inside the man flayer, and he's sitting there and he's dying, and he's like having, like, nah, dude, I'm fuck this. Like, I'm not trying to turn on the mind flayer. And then Joyce ends up taking an axe and starts chopping his head off. And about 37, 38 whacks later, his head falls off. It's like, and then she says, like, you fucked with the Rowe family or something. And it was like, okay, whatever. At this point, you're just like, whatever to everything. So then they're like, great, the mind flayer's dead, the thing's done, and now we just gotta get the fuck out of here. And they had set it up to like music where they had a record player, which I think they did in like one of the episodes of The Walking Dead, where they had a record player with like a needle, and when it would get to the final end, it would touch two wires together and blow up.
Yeah.
And they end up using Prince's
Purple
When
Rain.
Doves Cry.
Oh, When
No,
Doves Cry. Okay.
they do Purple Rain too. They do two Prince songs back to back, which I was like, that's a lot of Prince. I would have picked, honestly, I was like, if you're going to pick a song, do End of the World as We Know It by REM. It came out about that same year.
Yeah.
So it's like, it would actually fit. And then you could do Purple Rain later. You don't have to do two back to back Prince songs. So they're all leaving. They're back in their caravan of like, we got to get out of the Upside Down now before the song quits playing. We got plenty of time. Everybody's happy. We're getting the fuck out of here. Well, as soon as they come out of the Upside Down, to the end, which puts them right back inside this military base. That's when it's like, well, oh yeah, y'all forgot that this is a fucking military base,
There's
and they're probably pissed.
40,000
There's
space
40,000
Marines.
troops,
Yeah.
and they're probably pissed that you killed like half of them. And so they grab everybody out of the van, and they're like, get the fuck on the ground, assholes. Like, you guys are some deep shit now, And you hear the song, and then one of them's like, wait a minute, where's Elle at? And they can't figure out where Elle's at. And Mike looks up, and she stayed inside the Upside Down, right where the portal was. Like, she's like, I'm staying here. I'm not leaving. This ends here. It'll be gone. I'll be gone. No more, nothing, And so that's their big crescendo is like it blows, the Upside Down blows, the Dimension X can't get any more contact. She gets wiped away, so she's dead. And we'll get back to that later, too. And Prince is played in the background, and it's like whatever. And then that's pretty much like the end of like that time of the storyline. Like it's like right after that, time has gone on.
Okay.
And I don't remember how long it'd been, but
This
clearly
is the
time
Lord
has
of the
passed.
Rings super 25-hour ending thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
That's exactly because I mean, there's like I think it's like a 2-hour episode, and like almost an hour of it is epilogue.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, the final fight with Vecna and the Mind Flayer was like half the amount of time it took for Will to come out. I mean, it was a really short fight. It did not last long. It wasn't epic by any means. It was just like done. Because I was
So you would say that I would just going after your thing. I think the episode 3 ending with a flare is probably better then, because that was that was pretty damn lit.
That was pretty cool. This is like the dumbed down version of it, not near as much of a spectacle.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: no demigorgons, no nothing. There's not even a demigorgon in sight. Like there's no demi bats, there's no nothing. It's just no demi dogs,
no demi kitty
nothing.
cats.
Nope, no demi shrimps, no nothing.
And there was no vines, I don't think, in this desert part, right? So that was
nope. It's all desert.
So that was only in the Upside Down. I think
only in the Upside Down.
I think by adding, although they kind of shadow that in on 4, but I think adding another layer of planets or whatever kind of disrespects the Upside Down.
It got convoluted.
Yeah.
It got convoluted. It's like it could have just is. I like the idea of in season 4 when they found out the Upside Down was frozen in time. You remember when they were like, it's like 1986 here,
Yeah.
and they could go to their house, but it's like the 1986 version of their house, not the 1988 or whatever year they're in.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's cool. It's like an alternate dimension. It's like a time warp. That's cool. You could do shit with that. It's like the idea that it's just a hub in between a wormhole to another dimension that you've only seen a handful of times. Um, like in the flashbacks when Henry was turning
Yeah.
into
Yeah. Yeah.
Vecna. I mean, it's very little. Um, and I guess you could assume the Mind Flayer was like an alien, and he like mated with Henry, and they were like, let's go fuck up this town and these little kids, because fuck them little kids, I guess, or something. Why don't you go get me 12 random kids?
Yeah.
Whatever. So anyway, after that, there's like some time, and it's like graduation day. They're all graduating high school. Even the girl that's been in a coma for 18 months is graduating high school. And she started to be able to walk, and she can skateboard and shit like that. Um, and Hopper's back to being the sheriff. He's in his sheriff outfit again. So apparently they didn't take it personal that he killed all the military guys.
The only thing I can think of is, you thought that from the end of season 1 that they were going to be super pissed off about that kind of shit. But
Yeah.
once they couldn't get a hold of Elle or whatever, they almost like, well, what's the point then?
That's exactly what happened.
Individual officers would be pissed off, but they're just grunt stormtroopers with no brains or whatever. They're set pieces. They're set pieces.
They're just set pieces.
Yeah.
It's like it's like, oh, the Upside Down blew up and Elle blew up in it. Yeah, fuck them, let them all go. And that's it. That you don't see any more Linda Hamilton. You don't see anything else after that. It's just like, well, everything. I guess they were like, well, get in your car and leave. We only wanted her. Never mind all them people we literally watched you shoot when you came in here. Like, they literally saw him murder people. And he's like, they're like, whatever. So it's graduation day. They're all doing their graduation things. And of course, Mike's not there because he's like sad because like Elle died. And he's all, butt hurt. So Hopper has to go give him this speech about like, and it's actually a pretty good speech. Like where he's just sitting there and he's like, it's not your fault, and it's like it's not for you to figure out why they did what they did. You just have to know, and it's kind of like one of those coming from he's a dad that's lost one daughter, now he's lost a second daughter, and it's like you can either be bitter about this and make yourself miserable, or you can just move on and be happy and do whatever. So he ends up going to his graduation, and then Dustin ends up doing a thing where he basically flips off. He does what Eddie said he was going to do when he was graduating, like flip everybody off and tell them to fuck off and shit like that. But like I said, then they all graduate, and it's like, oh, that's great. And then you see Hopper and Joyce have gone out to a restaurant, which is like Enzo's, where they kept talking about it all through the series, I think.
This is retcon it to 80s Pizza Hut. True
yeah,
glory.
Basically. 80s Pizza Hut, So, and he ends up pulling out a ring and proposing to her. And it's the same ring that Jonathan had, which is like, well, if y'all ain't getting married, somebody might as well use it.
Yeah.
And he mentions like he's getting a new job offer in Montauk, which is like basically, I don't know if you ever heard about the Montauk Boys, where basically what Stranger Things was based on. Back in the 70s and 80s, where it was, I don't know if you've ever heard about it, but you ought to look it up. It's literally,
I'll just ask Eddie.
Yeah, he could probably tell you. It's basically like a military program where they took these guys or these people, and they were trying to figure out how to make it where they could like use their mind in deprivation chambers to spy on Russians.
Gotcha.
So it's something they did in real life, and it was called the Montauk Project. It's like if you look it up, you'll be like, they clearly got Stranger Things from this. So they end up getting engaged. Jonathan and Nancy and Steve and
Menaji Twaji.
Yeah, Menaji Twaji and Robin, they end up going and hanging out because they're there for everybody's
with
graduation.
Robin and Jonathan in the corner in the chair.
Yep, in the cuck chair. And it's basically like you assume that Robin and the other girl broke up because you never see that girl again. So, or it ever gets mentioned. So you're like, well, they must have broke up. And like I said, it's clearly like time has moved on. Like there's been some time. Steve is working as a sex ed teacher for the school and coaching baseball. Um, and Jonathan's working on some book that sounds fucking terrible, and they kind of hint at like, oh, this sounds terrible, but we're gonna be nice about it. And they're like, we should meet up more often. And they're like, we'll meet up in like Chicago or something halfway, whatever. Anyway, it's just something for them to be able to
Do
have a
something. Yeah,
send
yeah, yeah.
off. Yeah. So they do that. Trying to think who else has the little thing. Um, anyway, basically the very last scene of the show is Max and Lucas and Dustin and Mike all playing Dungeons and Dragons. Kind of like at the beginning of season one. They're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and they're about to lose this campaign. And they're like, "Oh, we've got this one character we can summon, this special mage, and we'll summon her." And you know, um, they win the campaign, and Max is like, "That's it. That's the end of the campaign," which is kind of fitting for the end of the show. Of like, that's it. That's the end of it. Um, it's very much kind of meta, like that's it. Um, and she's like, I thought you were some great storyteller. So he starts making up stories for him, and he's like, oh, like these two, and he's talking about Lucas and Max, like they fall in love and they go live happily ever after or whatever. And then Dustin goes and learns to be something at some school, and then it shows Will, and he's like, Will goes off and hangs out in some gay bar in like Seattle or whatever. Literally, that's what it shows.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, which is funny because there's a thing online of like the town that it's Milwaukee, wherever he ends up is a like a gay bar that like Jeffrey Dahmer used to go pick up people at.
Excellent.
So there's
Excellent.
like there's like this ongoing thing of like he's
I've
gonna get killed
seen
by
some
Jeffrey
memes
Dahmer.
there that didn't make no sense. I've seen Jeffrey Bomber and Will there, but now we've got it. Now it's
That's
all
what
clear.
it is.
Okay.
They were like, isn't that the town that he used to go to gay bars and try to find, targets? So
So
he's
so he gets his drilled on his
yeah,
head and then acid poured in it. That's great.
yep. It's like we're gonna find out what all Vecna put in there. So and then it's like, well, what about Mike? Mike's like, well, like Mike moves on, and he's like, and they're like, well, what about the mage? And it was like, well, here's the thing about the mage, and he realizes some. You could tell at some scene he's looking at some speakers and he's thinking about it, because like when they came out of the Upside Down, the military was there, and they were like they had all the kryptonite speakers, and he's like, if you think about it, she couldn't have used her powers at that time because she used her powers to talk to Mike through his mind to be like, hey, you know what,
Yeah.
I'm fucking gone. Um, and she's like, if you think about it, she couldn't use her powers to do that because the military had all the things. And they were like, okay. And he's like, and the girl that did the thing, they came up with a plan and like basically Kira faked her death in front of Hopper and then did a projection in front of them so they would think that she died as like she escaped the Upside Down.
Okay.
And so basically they were like, and he's like, that's what I like to believe. And then they go around the table and they're all like, I believe. I believe. And it's like, I believe in
Believe I
Santa
can
too.
fly.
And I believe. Wait, if you believe enough, Tinkerbell will come back to life. And then it shows 11 walking
And like
because they kept
Netherlands
saying
or something, because I seen
it's like
yeah.
New Zealand or
All right,
some shit because they
gotcha.
kept saying we would escape if after all this is over we'll leave. They'll never find us. We'll find a place with 3 waterfalls, and we'll be happy and nobody will know we're there. And you see her walking up on some village with like 2 waterfalls. It's arguable if there's a third, whatever. Which apparently was like filmed. They recorded that like a long time ago, like before season. I think that was like one of the first things they filmed of season 5 or something.
Gotcha.
Apparently,
Before like the
because they
strikes
said
or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, it was like they said it was like this is actually like a lot older. They didn't film it toward the end. And that's pretty much where it ends. And they leave it up to interpretation. It's like, do you believe like she's still alive, or do you believe that she died and he's just trying to cope?
Yeah.
And then that's the end of the series. And it was volume 1. I was like, this is actually pretty decent. Volume 2 is like it was just a straight down slide of like this is filler, this is filler, this is filler. And then a whole lot of like that final battle was really short. And it's like, and it's not, and I get it. You don't want to have happy endings for everybody, but like, it's like you left it up to interpretation. And I
Yeah.
get that, but like, did you need to? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, That was the end of the series. Any questions so far?
No, no, because on a lot of the stuff that happened on the penultimate episode and the last one, I knew from spoilers and shit, and people talked about it.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Like you don't get to see that one doctor. I forget his name. The guy that was like in Mad About You. You
Yeah,
never
yeah.
see or hear from him again. Um, but yeah, it was kind of one of those things that was like, and I've seen online that some people are like, it's great, and it's like, I think they're just saying that because it just came out.
I think
Because
a
when you
lot of
watch it, it's
well,
just kind of
yeah,
eh.
I think a lot of it is like for people like your daughter's age or stuff. They kind of grown up with it, and so this is the seminal event to them. This is like super important, and so they might need a big giant Lord of the Rings kind of ending. For a lot of us, it's like this has become. It said it was an event to before, but you've overplayed your hand kind of thing, and it's like this
Yeah,
has just gone so on. I got the same opinion of Attack on Titan. I never did because they just kept doing the last season on Attack on Titan over and over again to stretch the shit out. It's like, you know
yeah.
what? I don't even want to know anymore. Dude turns
Don't
into
even
a bird
care.
or some shit. But and so that was became my attitude. But I know, and I guess you're going to talk about this next. Is that a lot of people weren't satisfied, and so they kind of made their own shit.
They kind of made their own shit. There's two things that happened after this went off. There became this ongoing thing of conformity gate that they're fucking with us. That ending was so basically without saying that ending was bad. The fan base got in their head that that couldn't be the real ending. If it would have been a satisfying ending, nobody would have batted an eye. But you fucked up when you come out with an ending and people are like, it can't be that fucking bad. This got to be a joke. It got to be. They're doing a Vecna thing. Halfway through the episode, Vecna took over, and we only saw what Vecna wanted us to see. And they're releasing the other episode like a week later. So everybody started saying like January 7th because it was like there was a lot of compelling things because they're like the lever was red in this episode and it was black. They wouldn't have done that on purpose. No, they kind of fucked up. Or there was like inconsistencies. Is like like Will said certain things that he wouldn't know about. Clearly, that was Vecna, and it's like, no, they just kind of fucked up. Um, and then it's just a whole lot of coincidental things that you would be like, you know what? It would be genius if a week later they came out with another episode and it was like, this is what really happened. That would have been genius. They just weren't. I never felt they were that smart to do that.
That's naturally what's going to open up when you get the Freddy Krueger shit. Because what happens at the end of every Freddy Krueger thing, it was all a dream anyway.
It was all a
It was all
dream.
the dream. We're gonna rip up Nancy or her mom or whatever, rip her fucking right through the damn door in the first one, or we're gonna get Jason's fucking mask or whatever with the claw coming out of it, and then so
Yeah,
it
it's
almost
just
it naturally leads up to that. I guess that they don't want to acknowledge that part of Freddy Krueger. It
yeah.
just goes
I
on
mean,
for
because
fucking
it's
ever.
like there was all these things online of like if you. I mean, there was like a laundry list of things of like these are fucked up inconsistencies on a show that had pretty good storytelling up until probably about halfway through season 4, but had been pretty on point with they didn't fuck up a lot.
Yeah.
And it was like they clearly fucked up a lot on some of this stuff, like things that they said, things they did, and then the fan base basically jumping on it like everything's a conspiracy. Everything's you wait until January 7th, they're coming out with a new freaking episode. Of course, January 7th came and there were no new fucking episode. But what they did announce on that January 7th was there is a behind the scenes making of the last season. And I don't know if you heard anything about this.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, this was I haven't watched it because it's on Netflix, but I've seen the highlights of it. And you watch that and you're like, "Oh, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing." You find out they started filming season 5 before they even had a script for season 5. They just started
Well,
filming shit.
the writer's strike was involved into it. I don't know all of the details, but I know it was. And although then, even then, you would think that between the two Duffer brothers, whatever,
They'd have an
they have
outline.
it. Yeah, they might not have the dialogue written out, but they have it.
Yeah, but they'd have an outline. This is where we're starting. This is where we're ending. This is now we need to fill in the gaps in between. Your typical movie. You work your way backwards or work your way forward to get to whatever you have an ending in mind. So it's like with the Demigorgons. There's a part where they're interviewing and they're like, "Well, there should be like Demigorgons all here and this," and this guy's telling them like, "Yeah, there should. I mean, I would think in Dimension X there should be all over the place." And then I think it's the girl or something makes the comment of like, "Yeah, but we don't want to have Demigorgon fatigue," and they're like, "Yeah, we're not gonna put any of them in there." And then there was like a part where they're trying to reconcile like Eleven's fate, like what happens to her, and one of the duffers is like, "We need to leave it up to the fan base to decide if she's really alive or not."
That
And the
makes
other guy's
sense.
like, "Yeah," and the other guy says like, "No, let's not do that." So basically, it's like a thing of like them being like, we have no we have no outline. We're making season 5. We're bullshitting this shit as we go. We don't really, we've had years to really make an outline, not write a script, but have an outline of like this is how we got from here to here. And one thing they're catching shit for is you can see on their computer tabs, and one of the computer tabs is Chat GPT. So people are like, were they
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Chat GPT in this shit? Like, did they literally put in Chat GPT? Like, what would you do for a season 5? Like, and of
People
course they're
were
like, oh,
all
you
freaked
know,
the fuck out about it. This is the way. Just a quick aside. This is the way, and I know this from my damn 2 careers. Is that I work with computers all the damn time, and the computer is not going to replace nobody. Anybody kind of job who's getting replaced by a machine, you really ain't got really a good job, or they're doing something stupid, or they're using that as an excuse to get rid of you anyway.
yeah, exactly.
That computer is a moron, and the way I describe it is like it's like I forgot the thing, but it's Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man. It's like you get your card counting retard. He's a genius at certain things and absolutely incompetent at other things. And
Daily things.
people think that, oh well, it's clearly learning and paying attention. Yeah, no, it's still just numbers running
It doesn't know
algorithms.
how to think.
Yeah,
It doesn't know how to process like any type of like right turn.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
what to do if shit goes south. You
yeah.
know?
And then it's just and then you work with it's going to end up being like a personal kind of assistant. And I could very let's see, you've already got it on your phone anyway. You don't need a headset or anything. You just talk to it, and it's going to
Yeah.
give you some pointers. You don't necessarily take its advice, but it can tell you information, and it's just going to get it faster and immediate. But the hallucinations that it comes up with are just insane.
Oh yeah.
My
It's funny.
my
Like you,
my turtle was dying, slowly dying. He wasn't eating. And I'm asking him. I told the computer because I'd been asking it some things, so it gave me some suggestions about calcium powder, some things I didn't know about. That's because he was deficient of calcium, and I'm like, I'm trying to get him to get calcium because his shell's weakened and stuff. And I'm like, well, he's not. And then tell him the computer's like, it's not eating it at all anymore. And it came back to me, oh, that's great. That means it's used to you. I'm like, no, he's accepted that this is fucking done.
this is death.
Yeah, yeah.
He has accepted his
Yeah,
death.
he's
And
not
this is what's
running.
going to happen.
He's not running and begging for food, or he's not hiding from me. He's not even really acknowledging I'm there. He's looking at me, but he's kind of accepted this is the end, and so
It's
that's
like let me die.
the computer's like,
Let
that's
me
doing
die.
great. That's doing great. But it's just the hallucinations is, and so you can see it drastically getting smarter, but it's just a matter when you ask Alexa to do something and it doesn't do what it do. It needs to be there. It needs to see. It needs to kind of understand, and it's not capable of doing that.
It just answers commands. It doesn't
Yeah.
actually
Oh, no, it
think
tells
about
you
why it's
it
answering.
tells you what it thinks you want to hear. That's what it
Yeah.
always does. I was playing through Wizardry, and I needed some specific pointers for some things I'm missing, so it gave me that. And I just, and because they'll know and remember your shit. And so I told it, here, I want you to remember this basic plan. I've got outline plan. I told it to remember it. I didn't say to recommend or anything. And so I told it what I want to do and in the order I want to do it in. And so it came up with this like 5-page action plan in like 30 seconds of telling me how I'm going to execute the plan that I told it to just remember.
Just remember it.
And while some of it is correct, and some of it is absolutely backwards. Like it has my backline casters as front DPS dealers. Like, bro, you gotta get Alice up front. She's gonna do so much damage. And like, she's a fucking wizard, bro. It's like it was
She's
like,
artillery, man. She's
yeah,
not point.
or be something like it's like I'm like I tell them I want to build the weapons up. I need 27 of each weapon. You kind of gotcha loot a bunch of weapons and combine them to get your shit up. And it's like, and it gave me a timeline for doing this of 2 to 4 hours. I'm like, no, about 2 to 400 hours. It's just out of its mind. And so people are so afraid of this damn thing. Well, it's not useful at all. It has to have a human assistant. It will be your assistant. That's what it's going to do. But people are worried about job replacement first and foremost. A lot of people who ain't never had to worry about, because they had white collar jobs, are now worried that this thing, and it can rapidly do shit that they would optimize stuff. But but
it could tell you, like, especially I could see how, like, if you're like a stockbroker, it could probably tell you like a certain way certain things are leaning. But it's like,
well,
other than that, it's still got to have the good sense.
You could also just do the Nancy Pelosi stock tracker, and then and you gain up that way. But what happens is, or like, you know what, Nvidia is going to take a big dive sooner or later. Don't buy Nvidia right now because it's way up. But you could just, well, what if you buy, like, say, AMD or Google? That's more of a safer bet. These aren't complicated fucking things when you think about them, and then just don't sell it tomorrow. But a computer could definitely tell you shit like that. But more than likely, what this computer is going to do is it's going to take one or two little words you might have added to it. It's like, and just give you a big ass, you can do great, and give you a whole big bunch of shit that's actually kind of dumb.
You got to sort through it to be like, don't do that,
bro. Those Dodge coins. You start talking about, hey man, how do I get the good Dodge coins, dude? The dog coins are going to do great. Dude, we're going to pump up. You need to just get them right now. Get a shit ton of that. It's going to give you shit like that. You're doing great. Let me pat you on the back.
It's doing awesome. It's like when Alexa will ask you, like, did I turn off the light you asked for? It's like, the fuck no, you didn't. You turned off the other light. It's like,
I have Alexa downstairs, and I just use her as a Bluetooth. She's literally just a Bluetooth, where I just take my phone to her. I don't even use her for commands or anything like that.
I use mine to turn off lamps in the house.
Yeah.
So I don't have to get up and do it. Other than that, that's about it. She sucks at that most of the time.
Occasionally, she'll bing me when a package drops off, but that's it. That's it. But people are so freaked out about automation and shit. It's really automation, but automation is something that's been ongoing before most of us were born, from the cars and online. And you're not going to stop the automation anyway. Now, you ain't going to have all these fucking robots because they think that the singularity is about to happen. And then you just tell all the human robots to do things. No, them freaking robots right now are being run by damn Indians and shit. And they take there's pictures of the robots taking their headset off, and then the robot falling over because the person took his headset off.
Yeah, it's like they had one recently at a show that were like, look how this thing can actually jump around and move around. It is still light years away from actually being able to do anything productive.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, it can move around and it can hold its balance and it can walk and it can skip and it can jog a little bit, but it's like,
well, the point
we're still a long ways away from freaking it being like, go do this shit.
A point of a human robot would be to replace a human job, but if you're going to have a robot automated job, you wouldn't even design it around humans to begin with. The whole plant would be automated, and I don't know if you're going to put freaking Gork and Gemini and ChatGPT in charge of that thing. Thing's going to do some dumb shit, man.
Well, it's kind of like at work, man. People are like, "Oh man, these automated like Roomba lawnmowers, they're going to put all the lawnmower guys out of business."
No, they're all going to be in lakes. Is what they're going to be.
Yep.
Your Roomba.
I know a house right now that's got one in the front yard and one in the backyard, and it's like, it doesn't do worth a shit.
Yeah.
Because like it has to do it all the time because one, it can't cut very thick grass, so it's just constantly doing the same shit.
It's not even that good of the energy. It's good because the human doesn't have to, but it has to struggle its ass off. And then on top of that. Speaking of Roomba, that's another damn great analogy for AI. You have to rearrange your whole house for this robot to be mediocre.
To know what the fuck to do.
To be mediocre. And if a dog takes a shit in there, it's still going to run the turd over. It's some of the most basic shit. Now, it still could be technically useful because while a human might concentrate on a heavy trafficked area, a human's going to forget about that corner or whatever, and the robot has no damn difference between the idea of the corner and the center, and it's just going to hit that fucking corner. It'll go and find shit to get in some. It's like I didn't even know this poor fucking floor was here, and so that way, working together, the human and the robot can meet more things and actually do better in the long term. But you're still babysitting the robot. You're going to babysit the AI. It's a given, and that's all I did at the later part of my my grocery replenishment job. Is you babysit the freaking computer, and at the water plant we still babysit the damn computer. We don't let the computer really have control because it'll do some stupid shit.
It's like, don't do that. Don't fucking nope. Don't go there way. Don't turn this on.
Yeah. But we got any more Stranger Things? We're gonna wrap this.
That's pretty much about it. I mean, it's like, it's one of those, like, if you wanted to end the series, be like, I watched the whole thing to say you watched the whole thing, sure, but like, it's just
I
gets
don't care.
yeah. And that I was the same way before. I started watching when season 3 came out. I didn't watch the first 2 seasons when they came out. And I ended up watching season 3 and being like, hey, you know what? This is actually pretty good. And then I went back and watched season 1 and 2. Yeah. And then my daughter explained to me that you wouldn't see a season 4 for probably, 3 or 4 years. And I was like, what the fuck? Because I was like, hey, when are they going to do another one? And she's like, oh, it's going to be like 3 or 4 years probably.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, shit.
I think everybody kind of has their own little favorite season. To me, the first one's the best, followed by 3. And then 2 minus the city scene. Billy is a phenomenal character. He's fucking great.
Yeah.
But 4, even though I get the Freddy Krueger part, I absolutely do, it's way drawn the fuck out. It's way, and I'm assuming 5 would just been even more magnitudes, and like I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't, man. I'm checked out.
Well, that's like 4 would have not been bad if they'd have shaved some time off some of them episodes. Like, we didn't need to see them spend quite so much time in the prison. We didn't need to see her spending quite so much time getting her powers back. It's like that. I remember like when season 4 came out, I'm like, you could have shaved like 2 to 3 hours out of that entire season.
Yeah.
And it would have been better. It was just, and I guess it was like you don't want to under deliver, but it was like that shit got long and drawn out.
Yeah. Well,
it's like season 1 was good because it was a lot going. It was very simplified.
It's retro. You're bringing back the synth music back, which was, I always thought was cool. But then, that's kind of come back and now starting to phase out again. So
it's starting to phase out.
Yeah.
Poor Jen Comforter.
Yeah. And then there's always the thing where us 80s kids and watching our Star Wars and our freaking, our Saturday morning cartoons just keep forcing that shit on the next generation. And in a lot of ways, this Stranger Things is also just forcing that shit. Sorry. You're stuck. You're going to have to watch Ghostbusters forever. Forever.
Yeah. Just go keep bringing that shit back. Go buy your record albums at the fucking damn Walmart. They got more records than they got the CDs.
And the Nirvana shirts. Jerry got fucking Eddie a Nirvana shirt. It's like, you know what? He's just like all the other wild teens these days.
Yeah, man. He's hip and having it. It's like, it was like Nirvana came on the radio the other day with somebody I was with, and I was like, that's classic rock now. You think about it.
Oh, I say that shit. I say that shit about Linkin Park.
Yep. It's fucking classic rock right there, baby. Turn it up. Fucking damn.
The Drowned Pool.
Yep. I was like, because the guy I was with, I was like, that fucking baby that was on that cover has got to be like 30 years old now or something.
Yeah.
Sitting there with his weeder all out. He's like a 30-year-old guy. Probably carries that picture in his pocket to be like, remember me?
Remember me? He's like, I never got in the pool again. I don't like water.
Yep. I don't like water. He probably goes to like conventions. He probably goes to a con and charges like $50 for an autograph. Be like, I was the baby with the wiener on the Nirvana album. It's like he's sitting next to all the other people that were on cover albums that nobody remembers. Like, what was it, the Siamese twins that were on that one cover or something like that?
All right.
Go get a picture taken with me.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up, bro. Okay, I'm hitting this stop.